Hello everyone. So today I'm doing a video for somebody who requested it. It is microphones, how to set them up on the DP24. He has a DP24. Now he came from a 4-track background, so I understand his confusion of how this works. So this is a very newbie video today. So just letting you know. So I'm going to start from scratch, pretty much scratch here, and that's why I have beside me here. I got my condenser microphone and just a regular dynamic microphone SM58. So I have both of these, and the reason I have both of them is because I just want to show everything. I want to show everything, really. That's why. So the first thing to remember is know what kind of microphones you have, because you need to know, do you need phantom power? Do you need is phantom power going to kill your microphone? Now, generally, for most of us who are not rich or have the luck of finding things like a ribbon microphone, or have friends who customize microphones, you should be fine if you have phantom power on everything, because it's not going to break your microphones. Like this microphone here, this is a standard SM58. There is don't quote me on this, I don't know if I'm correct on this, but there's a diode in there, and that diode stops it from getting the voltage coming in, so it doesn't burn the microphone out. Whereas this microphone, this is large diaphragm condenser, it needs the phantom power to run. So that's why I did both of these here, because I wanted to show how things work in that case. So like I said, unless you have a customized microphone, where I know there's some guys who like taking the diodes out of like SM57s and that, because they feel it has a better sound to it. It collects more sound. In this case, I don't have that. I don't even find there's a difference, but that's my point of view on things. But either way, and if you're lucky enough, like I said, to have a ribbon microphone, I am not. So once again, you have to know whether or not it has phantom power. Generally, if you look it up, it will tell you whether it needs phantom power, because there are some ribbon microphones that are actually active ribbon microphones, and they will use phantom power. But once again, like I said, check your manual, look online. If you bought it used and you don't have a manual, look online and see if you can find a manual on it, because it's very important. You don't want to burn out a microphone because you weren't thinking. So, all right. So now that I've cleared up that, let's go more in depth in here. So first off, I have put these on separate channels. Now let's just quickly look at the screen at the input section here. Let me slide my camera over. So here's the input section. It's a little dusty. I haven't really had a chance to clean it today. So we'll just look at this right now. At the moment, I have everything. I have all the trims down to line, so it's down to as low as possible. Now you have two sections on here for phantom power. So this button of phantom power runs these 4 inputs. This button runs these 4. So right there. So if you do have ribbon microphones, and you're also going to be at the same time using condensers or any kind of microphone that needs phantom power, what I would suggest is use one grouping for that, and then the other grouping you put your microphones that don't need it. Now in this case, I have, just for fun, I don't have to, but I have put my Rode here. The Rode NT1 is on input A, and the SM58 over here is on input H. So that's how I'm going to disassociate them that way. So like right now, this one does not have any power going through it, as you can see. So I turn on the phantom power here. Now that means that these 4 are actively getting phantom power, if you have a microphone hooked up to them. So once again, if don't worry. Generally, check your manual, and you should be fine. So now that's set up. So now this one's input. Remember, this is A, this is H. I put them on separate things because I wanted to show some other stuff with this. So that's first. So I hooked up my microphones. I turned on phantom power for this microphone. And now we're going to go and assign the tracks. Now you have the ability to do this with 1 to 8 microphones. The setup is always the same. It's, you know, you have no, it's not difficult to do. It's the same idea every single time. Now let's move over to our screen here. I was going to try to get it on here. So as you can see, you have the inputs here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, 8 inputs. You have your tracks down here. In this video, I'm not going to worry about mono and stereo. Well, since okay, never mind. Just ignore what I just said. I am going to worry about it. So you click on your assign button here. Now the beauty of the DP32 24s is that you can assign these 8 inputs to any of the tracks. You don't have to worry about it. Now there is some limitations, and I've shown this before. So like for instance, these will always be considered stereo, so they're always considered 2 inputs. So let's say I put my 8, let's go to track 9. There's 2 ways to do this too. So you can use the jog button. So jog button over here, and I'll just kind of there. So you can use the jog button, and as you can see, as I hit the jog button, if you look over on the screen over here, you can see that it's moving to the different microphones. You can also use the select buttons down here. So like, let's see. So if I hit 32, so there 22. So once again, yeah. So that's, you can do it that way. And to get to the stereo bus, there's 2 ways to do that as well. You can use the jog button and just go down to it, or if you hit stereo select, see if I can show both at the same time here. Stereo select, it automatically takes you down to it, and then at that point you'll have to go across. I'm not going to get into stereo bus and all that today. I've done videos on that before. We're going to worry about just tracking down recording, like just tracking down our tracks, like our microphone, and the inputs. Now, once again, like I said, you have the ability to do a maximum of 8 inputs. You can do it 2 different ways. Like I can sit here now, even though I don't have microphones hooked up, I've done this before, where I will say, okay, well, I'm going to be recording vocals on tracks 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to do them like I'm going to do an auto punch in and out. So I want it to be, so I just want to be able to switch to the next track. I'm going to be using the same mic for each one. So what I can do is here, I can say on track 1, hitting the source button. So I don't know if I can get all this in. So the source button's on here. So I'm going to hit the source button on track 1, and then it'll show input A in the thing. So there we go. So now I've said, all right, so track 1, I'm going to do input A, and I can go across and I can do this. Now I have the ability to record all 3 of these at the same time with that same input. That is possible if you like. I generally what I generally will do. Oh, excuse me. Is I will record input A on one of the tracks, and then the other as a direct input for like a guitar or something, and then I'll use input the second one, and I'll record like an amp or something with it, and then like I'll use the internal amp and internal effects, and that's the one that's just for the guitar player to hear what they sound like, and it's kind of a motivator for that reason. So you are able to do what I just did here. You don't have to. Now, if you hit the source button again for that track A, it will take the track away. You also have the clear button down here, so that would be F2. This stereo mono is only on the DP32s. I've done videos on that too, And all that really does is it just allows you to change. As you can see, it's flashing there. I have the ability to change the stereo track to a mono track, or I can just leave it, and I'm just going to click it off. And on the DP32s, the stereo tracks can be either stereo or mono. That is not the case with tracks 1 to 8. They are mono, and they are mono only. Now, once again, DP32 only. Can't do this on 24. Maybe sometime they'll do a firmware update where they'll do that, which I don't know why. I don't know why it's only on the DP32, but that's the case. And for like when I do drums, because I generally do drums on tracks 30, 31, 32, 30. I do them on the back tracks here. So I generally will do that. I will switch. I'll leave this 31, 32 as stereo, and I'll have the overheads coming in there, and then the other ones I will do mono. All right, so we've discussed that. So yes, so like I said, the nice thing is that you can assign any track anywhere. So let's say you've grouped your system the way you want. You have a beautiful ribbon mic that you're recording the vocals for, like the singer. You want her to be using the ribbon mic, and you're doing like a live full band. You're doing 8 channels or 8 inputs all together on this thing, and so but you want her to be on track 1. So, and you happen to have it on H, like this one is. So there you go. I am now, you can see it there. I have it now on H. So track 1 is now going to be recording H. And yeah, so you can do any order you want. You have the ability. You just have to remember in your head what inputs you put where. So like, you know, if it, like that's another thing, you know, because I if I was to use a ribbon mic, this is how I would do it. So that's how you have it set up. So like I said, it's up to you how you want to do it. Generally what I do is I will do it in order here. Whatever order I'm putting it on the board, I will put it in the order on the inputs as well. So then you have the ability. So the default button here, there you go. So that will automatically assign those tracks to you. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So now they're all assigned. Just hitting default here, and then there you go. And then you can clear it away if you want. That's just another way of doing it. So let's take it that I'm going to track on track 1. This is my vocal mic, so I'm going to put that there, and then I'm going to use track 2, and I'm going to record the SM58 here. So now I have on track 2. Now just for fun, just so I can show you, you can do the same here. You can do one input. So let's say I want to use E and F. I have stereo microphones, or I have a keyboard coming in on E and F on the inputs. So over here E and F, and I have a stereo microphone coming in. Let's say I want to track that down. So I can go E, F. There we go. Now that means that will automatically set it so that E is left. No, E is right. No, E is left. Sorry. E is left. F is right. Now, in this case, you can't do something such as, let's just turn them both off. You can't do something like, if I go over here and I do like an F and a G, it will not do it. See, as you can see, I'll do it again. F, G. So it will just automatically say, nope, not allowed to do that. Now if I went F and I went E, then it'll switch to E and F again. So what you have to do is you have to group them. So if you're doing a stereo, if you want to use stereo inputs, then you have to group them. So you have to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. You can't do like in between. So like D, E will not work. You know, F, C will, C, F will not work. Like that stuff won't work. They have to be like right beside each other. And if you want to get technical, they have to be even odd. So if you look at this, if you change this to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then you have even odd, even odd, even odd, even odd. And you can't do even odd. That won't work. They have to be right beside each other. So that's just another thing you need to remember. So now I've got A and A and H on my tracks, on tracks 1 and 2. So now we go, now then, this is another thing that you need to remember is you do have the ability to use the internal effects on these tracks. So to get to that, so we'll do that. So hit mixer. Okay, so right now it says track 1. If I say input, I'm now on track A, and as you can see I have insert effects is already on. So what this insert effects is it's the dynamics here. So if I go to here, you can see this is on. I'm using the noise suppressor. I can switch that if I want to the de-esser, the exciter, whoops, I jumped one, or the compressor. So you can only use one. You can't use all, you can only use one. And whichever one you land on and you switch, you exit the screen, that's the one you're using. So if you land on the compressor and you're like, that's what I want, that's what you're going to be using. So that's what I have right now, is I'm just going to use compressor on that one. And I can do the same with B. So if I hit source and I go to B, right now it's on noise suppressor, same thing. I can go and select compressor. So I just suppress, and as you can see, it's different settings, so it's hard for you to see on that. Let's see if I pull it back about here. There you go. Now you can see the settings. So there are the settings, and if I go back to A, you can see it's completely, just looking at, you can see they're completely the same, because that's what happens. So let's just have some fun, and we'll just bring up the ratio on B. So B is now there. So now if I switch, so there the ratio's at 1.5 to 1, and there it's 6.0 to 1, and yeah, so you can see how it works. So it is each individual. Now as long as you are not using the internal effects on the tracks, you can set all 8 tracks with their own dynamic effect. You have that ability. That is one of the, and in this case I think I do, as you can see it's on all of them, and I have different things on, except for H. If you do have the internal effects on the board, when I say internal effects, that's the guitar effects here. The guitar effects are set up when you're in the mixer and you're on a track and you say, okay, well, I'm going to do an insert here. I can't do it right now because I have all the effects on up here. So that's fine. But that's what that's for. So that's the insert effects on the track. There are 2 different things. On the inputs, they're dynamic effects. On the tracks, they are guitar effects. Now, as you can see, there are 2 separate. You have guitar. See, like right now, I'm not in the guitar section. This is the send tracks. They are worked by effects 1 on the board here. And if I go guitar, that's when I'm, as you can see now it says send. So now I'm in the guitar effects. So if I was actually using it, I'd have an amp on right now. So that's another side caveat, trying to just let you know that's the difference there. So you have the ability to assign a dynamic effect to your inputs. I recommend using them. They are actually really, really good. They work really well. That's another step. So now we have our tracks assigned. I'm going to get back on the track here. Have our tracks assigned. I have phantom power set up on the Rode microphone. Now you have to arm the tracks. So on the board, as you can see, it says A and H. It has them over the 1 and the 2. I can get a little closer if you want to see it closer. There, so 1 and 2. So bring your faders up. So there we go. Now, generally, you don't have to do this, but if you go to the mixer, you can see where your level's at, and you should try to get it to be 0. And then switch to track 2 and do the same. There we go. So now they're at 0. They're still not armed. As soon as you hit over here, the record button's on them. You see they went red, and now you can see that A is going up. I'm going to just pull it up here so hopefully it doesn't blow out the system. Hey, is up. So now if I get closer to this one, and then this one is not getting any sound. Now it is. There it is. There you go. There you go. So as you can see, they are working, and I am doing 2 microphones simultaneously here. And that, my friends, is pretty much everything. And now when I record, I will be recording on those 2 tracks, and that is how I do it. And like I said, you can do it for the, I think, did I not assign? Oh, I did not. Let's go back. Okay, I'm going to turn off record on these 2 for a sec. I'm going to assign it to stereo track just for fun. So, oh no, I can't assign it because I have A and H. All right, well, I can still do it. So, I'm going to do A and B. Means that, so there, A and B. So that means that this microphone should only show up on the left side, which we will now go see. So now we'll go to track, we'll go back home, select track 9, bring track 9 up, hit record, and as you can see, it is only on the one side. And just for fun, let's go assign onto 11 and 12. And let's go assign G and H. So that means that this microphone will be on the right side. So, and then we'll do the same thing, go back down. I'm just pulling the mixer up. I'm not really worried about what I'm set at. Hit record on it, and now you can see that that is now coming through this one. And if I hit record on these 2, on the 1 and 2, you can see that they are both going up at the same level, about da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And that, I guess that would be about it. I don't know where else to go with this. So sorry it's a little grainy on the screen. I had to close the window today because I was getting a really bad glare on the Tascam for this one, and I wanted you to see what I was doing. So that's my video today. Thanks again for watching. Like I said, you got a question, ask it. I will try to answer it. If it's too complex, I will either direct you to a video that I've made, or I will make a new video. So once again, thank you very much. Talk to you later.
Staring up into the cold black sky, looking for answers, never knowing why.